So in this video, I'm just going to show you how to make a face on your octopus. So this is what I'm going to call, I like to call a sleepy smile. So we're going to make eyes that sleep and a face that smiles, a mouth that smiles. So, and it's just very sweet and cute and cuddly for a little baby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my yarn. I have a black yarn that's actually a size 4, but it's a small size 4. It's 100% cotton, 24/7 cotton by Lion Brand, and in the color black. And what I do is I fold the end of my yarn here. So I'm folding it, and then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to place the yarn fold in the large eyed needle. It's a large eyed tapestry needle. It has this little bend on it. That's how you know it's a tapestry needle. So, and I only have like a little bit draping off. You don't need a whole lot. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go into the side and the back of where my face is going to start. So find your place where your face will be, kind of imagine it, and you're going to go from behind the face and on the side, and make sure that you're going between two stitches. Like, don't go in the middle of the stitch. Make sure you're between two stitches in a nice little hole there so that it doesn't rip anything. So you're going to go into the side and behind. I'm actually going to go a little bit more side. And then we're going to put our needle into where we want the eye to end or begin. So the side of the eye. So I'm going to have my eye go all the way out to here. So I'm going to put my first eye will come out of there, and then I've pulled my yarn through, and you can keep it on the skein if you want, or you can just snip off I snipped off about 2 to 3 feet of yarn. So you're going to go from there, and then you're going to go down 1 stitch. So I'm going down 1 stitch and over a stitch. Okay, so down, see how that stitch goes down? And that's the length and width of the stitch. And you're going to go over 1, the width of the stitch. And remember, you don't want to go in stitches, you want to go between the stitches in those holes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And while I do that, I'm going to take my needle and fashion it so that it's going to come out the next spot that I want my shape of my eye to go in. So I'm actually going to go over 2 stitches here. Okay, so I've gone down and over 1, and I'm going to go through 2 stitches and come back out. Okay, with my yarn. Okay, and here's part of the eye, and what I'm leaving here is kind of like a dotted line. I'm making a dotted line. And then I'm going to go up and over 1 again. We're going to do the same thing here as we did there to make sure it's nice and even. So you're going to go over 1 stitch, so the width of 1 stitch, and up. Okay, so make sure you go between the stitches in the eyes. Okay, so between the stitches, and then what we're going to do is see where we're going to come out of, which is going to be, where we went in. So you're going to go out of where you came. Okay, so go back in where you came from, and we're going to come on back out. And that's going to create our next line. Okay, and see how I'm going back over my dotted line. So I'm going to go over here, which this is going to be, we're just filling in our dotted line now, and then you want to make sure that you're going into the next place that you want to come out of, okay, which I'm just going to put it right here to show you that you can come out here and finish your eye. So there's your eye, and he's sleeping. So then you want to go and you want to make your other eye next door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back out. I'm going to go back in where I came from. You always want to do that. And then I'm going to go over 2 stitches again. So I'm going to make 2 more stitches. I'm going to go over 2 stitches again. Pull through. Okay. See how I have my eye here? And I want to make exactly the same here. So I'm going to go over and down. So I'm going to go over and down the 1 like I did on the other side. And I'm going to go I'm going to go the length of 2 stitches. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pull it through. Okay, I'm creating my dotted line on the way out. And then I want to go and do my over 1 and up 1 to end my eye. So over and up. It's kind of on a weird angle there. But I don't want to go over too far. Okay. And then I'm going to go back out where I came from. So I'm just pushing him over this way, and I'm going to make sure I go back out that way. I keep hitting my camera so it gets all jiggly. And then I'm going to go from here and fill in my dotted line, right? And you can do this with any kind of embroidery, really. And then when I'm done here, I'm going to show you that I'm going to go straight to the smile. And I like to make the smile just straight away in the middle. And see how there's that big gap right there from when I did my single crochet 2 together. This is a beginner's video, and this is a beginner's project. So we've got our 2 eyes, and we're going to go make this smile. So we're going to go right back out where we came from, and we're going to go where the start of the smile will go. So I'm going to take it around here so I can show you where I'm thinking. So I like to go right in the middle of where my eye was. So middle to eye to middle of eye with my smile. Of course, you can make it smaller if you want. You can make it any way you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull that down, and this is where our smile is going to start. And then I'm going to go downwards 2 and over 1. And we can just plan out where we're going to come out of. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to go over 2 stitches, just like I did with the eyes. And so that's as far as it comes down. I went over 2, down 2 and over 1 stitch. And then I'm going 2 stitches wide. And then I want my smile to end kind of where I started on the other side though. Okay. And remember, we're going to come back out where we started, where we came from, and fill in our lines. And we're going to go fill in our dotted line. And you can go out really any way you want. I'm just going to come out here just to show you that what that looks like. So he's a sleepy smile. So that is your sleepy smile. And of course you can make the smile narrower if you'd like, however you'd like it to be. Each octopus can have their own personality. Okay, so we're going to hide this black here, and the way we're going to do is we're going to go back in where we came out of. Okay, and I like to go around a little bit so that we don't lose this. We've got to create kind of a maze inside. It's like working in your ends. So, oh, come on. It's normal to get your tentacles stuck in everything. with these guys. Okay, so there's that guy. And then so I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to take him out where I began. Go back where you came from. Okay. And then we can hide that in. Okay. And then we're going to take our needle off. And what we can do is, well, I like to cut a little shorter so that I can make, so you cut your yarn off here so you have two pieces. And then I like to make a little knot. So you just tie one knot at the end here. And then what you can do is snip it at the end, and then you can hide it by taking your needle. Oh, you can also just push it. You can just massage it in. That's one way. See? And if you still have some black in there, you're just going to want to pull it with your needle. Take it from one side and then pull it down. And that's with the wider side. Okay, so here is our sleepy, smiley octopus. Isn't he precious?